Shalom, first and foremost, all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Harachakodash. That belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, elect. Shalom unto you, your brother Shaquat. It should be a rather quick video, make a few points. Not as much rant style, but it will have a rant element to it, if you will. Okay. I'm gonna try to pull a few other precepts, but it's because you get comments like this, and it gets frustrating when you have these young upstarts, or these. And that's not nothing to do. I don't know this person at Amos Israel 1976, but you look at these. How do I want to say it? You look at some of these comments. You look at the actions of some of these people that are coming into this Israelite thing, and they don't understand the bigger picture. They just want to do what they want to do, and they're not really in it for the real work of it, and they're out of order. Okay, and so that's why we're strict here at Great Millstone. Okay, about the things that we're strict about. Let me read the comment before I get all out of control. But anyway, it says comment on prophets of the Lord, Tampa, Florida. Okay, and beautiful brothers out there in Tampa. Excellent teaching. Subscribe and be edified. Maybe I'll try to pull their page up before I close out, or submit the link or something if I remember, Lord willing. But anyway, a comment that said at Amos Israel 1976 said, brothers teaching to the camera amongst the heathen instead of going to the hood where our people dwell. I know y'all really scared of Jake. And this is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. This is like one of the dumbest. If I could thumb it down, I may go to this video just to thumb it down because the comment is stupid. But instead, I thought about it, and maybe some edification could come out of it. So for you new brothers that's coming in, and whether you're in Great Millstone or not, if you have this mentality, you have a carnal mentality. Okay? You have a very carnal mentality. Worried about people scared. Matter of fact, let me start with a scripture. All right, this is Ezekiel 3. I'll start up at 4. It says, and what's funny is I'm gonna start up at 3. Okay. It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as sweetness for honey. Now this is key, because this is a beautiful message. Okay, the things when you wake up to becoming a Hebrew Israelite, and the Spirit moves you to go out there and teach, this is one of the sweetest things to be able to have this information and to give it to our people, because it's one of the greatest things. The gospel is good news unto our people. Hey, we ain't supposed to be lowly niggas, Hispanics, and natives, whatever, forever and ever and ever. Okay, we born in this, we die in this, we're meant to be slaves and conquered and destroyed, and the hood is what we're supposed. We're not. This ain't. But no one else on the earth has the conditions as bad as we have it. Okay, I mean, when you really look at it, even when you go to these third world countries where Jake isn't at, and what do you see? At least the people have a sense of unity, or the people have a sense of I don't want to say freedom, because people don't know what that word truly means. But they free to worship their gods, or not to have other gods. There's only one God, and things like that. Become what's the word I want to use? Basically, it should be we only worship one God in this country. Okay, so there's no confusion, and then that makes the differences of the people. All these things that America suffers from. You go to these third world countries, yeah, we got running water, and we got, Cheerios and dumb shit like that. But people, you go over there, they got some of the same things, their own versions of the same things. But hey, this place is worse off for having all of the freedoms that they have here. That's why this place is the harlot, man. That's why it's got to be destroyed. Okay, the place of confusion, Babylon the Great. Okay, which we know, just to say it, Babel, where Babylon comes from, means confusion in the Hebrew. Okay, so all these situations are adding up, and you want to be able to tell this to the people. And when you see when I say situations, I mean you see how our people act. Okay, and so you want to go and tell them that, hey, we can be better. But a lot of our people don't want to be better. This is why the 2/3 got to go. The same type of purpose that go to the hood and teach, the same type of mentality that says everybody can be saved. Let's set up soup kitchens. Let's go marching around the city. They like to see that. They like to see the controversial videos more than the edification. Okay? That's the type of mentality that is. All right? But what this scripture is talking about is when you get this let me go to the one in Revelation also. Okay? When you get this word, it's special. Okay? And you want to just share it with as many people as you can, with our people, to know, hey, we ain't got to be in rat and roach infested, piss stinking ass neighborhoods. There's better to come, and this is who we really are, and this is what we're gonna get from the Father, and the day of judgment is coming. You start talking about all these wonderful things, and then I'll read this, and then I'll break it down. But then you get to that point where you get tired of our people, man, because they don't want the better. They don't want to be better. They don't want to live better. Okay? And I don't mean live like the heathen or live like the white man. That's not what I mean. One thing about the white man I will say, though, and even the heathen, I'll just say it in general for the heathen. The heathen have a natural sense of generally, I'm saying, sense of care for the things around them. What I mean by that is, like, they don't want to live in rat and roach infested neighborhoods. They don't want to live like that. So they don't. They want to have healthy food. So they have Starbucks and Whole Foods and all of that stuff around them. Okay? And Sprouts. While you people shopping at the discount store, at the Dollar Tree and the 99-cent store, they've gone now, but shopping at a place like that for groceries, not just for little knickknacks and things. I've seen this lady making groceries at the 99-cent store when it was around. Like, that was a real thing with Jake. Okay? Which, you can find some things in there, but what's really in there? I can tell you what's not in there. The healthy things that our people really need. Okay? And when you looked in their cart, that is what you see in there. Alright, so all of this is what the same mentality is. And when you try to tell our people that they can be better, and they deserve better if they're willing to be better and change their ways, that's when it turns bitter. Which I'll read this now, Revelation 10:8. I'll start up there. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And what's the little book? Talking about the Bible, the scriptures. Okay? And what's written in it? Lamentation, mourning, and woe, as well as prophecy. Okay, which well as instruction, reproof. Okay, but instruction in righteousness. Okay, this is what our people need. We need a guideline. We need a way of life to be and live better on the earth. And when you deliver this message unto our people, they see it as a burdensome responsibility that they don't want to take on. Just a burden. I want to eat what I want to eat. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing because the Sabbath is coming in, or because I got to go do this instead. Okay? Jake want to be niggas, man. And that goes to Hispanic niggas, black niggas, native niggas, whatever, man. Jake want to be lowly. That's why for a lot of our people, majority of our people, the 2/3, only fire is going to cleanse them, purify them, okay? Adversity ain't enough. As it says in 2nd Esdras, I believe it's the 16th chapter, I believe it is. Matter of fact, I'll grab it real quick and come right back. Real straight to the point. 2nd Esdras 16:19. Behold, famine and plague tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right? To correction. These are scourges or bad situations that we live through that's supposed to, they're like whippings to get us to be righteous. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. We'll do it for a minute, oh my God, and then we stop. And don't realize that things would be better if we just lived a righteous life. Jake is just too much for Jake. Jake doesn't have the stamina to live a righteous life. Jake doesn't have the willpower to live a righteous life. Jake doesn't surround himself with others that want that. That's why this ministry is what we have, man, to keep us all intact with this thing. Okay, let me go back. Okay, and so that's why it becomes bitter, as it's about to say. Verse 9, it said, give me the little book. And he said, take it, eat it, meaning digest it. When you digest it, you really meditate on it, you understand, and you get the benefits, the nutrients, if you will, out of the book, right? Take it up, and it shall be in thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Okay? And it's going to make thy belly bitter. When you digest it, it's going to become bitter because you're going to have a sick, I'm just saying it this way figuratively, a sick taste in your stomach, sick feeling in your stomach when you got to go out and teach your own people. This is why we don't go to the hood, because our people don't want it. Okay? And I'm going back to Ezekiel, but let me read it again. It says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, because it's a beautiful thing to talk about. It got many layers. It's a lot of flavor involved in it. You can do a lot with this. Like and when you go out and teach, you have the opportunity to get creative, to exercise, kind of scream. I don't want to say scream on people, but exalt your voice, and get those parts of the human spirit taken care of. But then it's for a righteous cause, which makes it that much more better. It says, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was I jumped ahead. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And as soon as it was in my mouth as sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Okay? And this is what happens, man. You when you start to understand that you got to go out in all kinds of weather. That, whether it's ice cold or freezing cold or blazing hot, you got to still go out there. When it's raining, you still got to go out there. When you don't feel good, if you're able-bodied, you still got to go out there to the best of your ability. Don't be over righteous much, but just saying, you still want to go out there. It burns in you to have to go out there. Jake could be injured and still be out there teaching, man, standing on one leg. Crutches or on a stick or whatever, cane. Jake be out there still, man. Okay? Because we fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And if you ain't, giving 100% in the right spirit, it could end in destruction. And the scriptures also say, if you fall out because you ain't attending to what you're supposed to be doing, you'll be beaten with many stripes because you knew about this thing and didn't speak it, right? And it goes on and on about that, even in the 3rd chapter of Ezekiel. I'm going back now. Okay, later down it says that, if you don't warn somebody, which I'm not gonna get it, you're guilty of the crime as well. Of not warning them. The blood is still on your hands, right? Anyway, down to verse 4, Ezekiel 3 and 4, it says, and he said unto me, son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. Meaning you don't have to come up with your own words and own way to say things. You just got to speak, thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. That's all you got to do. And that's easy because you're not the one that had to come up with it and follow through. He has it all set up for you. You just stick to the Spirit, to the Holy Spirit. Okay? It says, for thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech or of an hard language, but to the house of Israel, to your people that speak your language in your region, in your city, in your town. Okay? This is who you go out and teach to. You got the same lingo, so if you got a lingo from the Bay Area, or you got a lingo from down south somewhere with the southern drawl, hey, it's for you. LA lingo is for you to teach those people that understand, because you're gonna have those same analogies that they're gonna get. You can bring up the same instances that you can get. So it sounds like a beautiful, wonderful thing that you just go out, I'm going to just relate to my people, and but that ain't how it work, man. And they going to follow, and they going to listen, and we going to change the hood. It don't work that way. Let me tell you how bad it don't work that way. Nipsey Hussle tried to do it the street way. And I'm not saying he tried to be teach the Bible or nothing like that, but he tried to reach his people and change his hood as a hood nigga himself. And where did he end up? Okay? And I don't care about all the other conspiracy theories, whatever, man. The nigga's supposed to be dead or whatever. That way don't work. This is the only way that works if you're righteous, if the Heavenly Father chose you to be of his elect. Okay? And that's just period, point blank plain. All right? It says, not too many of a strange speech or of an hard language, whose words thou canst understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto you. All right? But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. So that's who we're sent out there to teach. Okay? And we know in Matthew that our Lord told us, it says, Matthew 10:5, these 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now here's a key thing. Where are those sheep lost at? Okay, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. Okay? And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. This is why we talk about IUIC going over to Africa, going way over there to teach this thing. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Okay? Go to them people so they can reject you. This is what happens, man. And those were heathen rejecting you over there in Africa. But when you go to the hood, Jake rejects you also. The scriptures just told us in Ezekiel. Okay? Said it in the 7th verse. But that's the point, though. That they will reject you. They'll half-ass listen. They won't follow through. Okay? So many times here in Vegas, particularly, so many times, people like, yeah, man, y'all here every week? Yeah, for now. You know, Jake always looking for, as soon as Jake started talking about coming back or possibly coming back, because the brothers that remain, that have come in and learning and crossed over and all of that, they don't ask if you'll be back. They just come back. They just find you. They just show up. Whatever the situation is. Okay? That's something different. They don't ask, oh, so y'all gonna be here? Man, don't worry about how long we gonna be here. You ain't gonna be, you don't want to say that, but that's how you feel. Get tired of our people saying you gonna be here, man. Y'all doing something good, man. We need this, and nobody want to hear all that. Tired of lip service out of Jake, and that's if you get a righteous situation dealing with Jake. You didn't sat there and edified this man for 45 minutes, or whatever the case may be, and then he getting it, and then he walk off. Nigga walk off and light a black and mild before he hit the corner. We've been in mid breakdown and seen Jake, a chick walk up or whatever, a nigga walk up and say something, and Jake hit the cigarette or the black and mild, and now they gone. Which we know that's prophecy, through the scriptures that would happen. From Matthew the 13th chapter, here cometh the wicked one, sown away to take away what was sown in his heart. All right. Anyway, here getting to the point is verse 7. But the house of Israel, I read that, verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their forehead, as an adamant harder than flint. And flint is a very hard stone. Have I made thy forehead, fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Okay. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear thine with thine ears, and go and get to them of the captivity. Go to the children of thy people and speak unto them, and tell them, Thus saith the Lord Power Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. So we go tell them whether they want to hear it or not. But here's the issue. You trying to force us, y'all scared to go to the hood. Man, you go to the hood and show us how it goes, show us how it's done. And here's the thing. Most of us have been to the hood and have seen what happens when you go down to the hood. Man, we taught here in Vegas, we didn't taught in the hood, man. We went right to the nigga spot where all the niggas will pull up weekly. Okay? And pull up and do their same thing. They come over a few minutes. They may scoff. They might walk by. They don't look at you. And I mean, not just, we went to the swap meet. It was one of those places that we taught at. So we know Jake got plenty of parking space to pull up, got cover where it's not too hot. Okay? They be up there, they see we there. Okay, so it's a nice flow of traffic. It's the marketplace. Okay, where it tells us to go. Okay, going to the let me get it. Proverbs 1:21 is the point. I'll read 21. It says, she cried in the chief place of concourse. Swap meets the chief place of concourse. Okay, out where the people be at, the chief place of concourse. Okay, where we was once teaching, just as a testimony of where we was taught, 7-Eleven across the street, McDonald's in the parking lot, the full swap meet, the tire shop. I mean, there's plenty of all types of food places on Rancho, some Main Street, the whole nine. We did all that. Okay, no fruit, more contention than anything. Okay. More contention than anything. Know what happened? A lot of people with firearms came around. Okay, they didn't shoot. It was even a Jake there, an older black Jake, thinking he better than everybody. But anyway, pulled up, pants tucked in. He had like some damn cotton shorts, a cotton t-shirt, high dad socks and shit. Pulled up with his pistol on his hip, trying to provoke. And what are you out here trying to find somebody to shoot for, man? Go on, get out of here. I mean, just get out of here, bro. This ain't for you. I can stand here, listen, you can. But we ain't got to answer you. There ain't nobody talking to you. You just trying to get a reaction while your hand all itchy. Man, like you trying to get itchy and pull up. Man, ain't nobody we got Bibles, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody sweating you. You trying to create a situation so you can shoot somebody. Get out of here. Okay? And this is the type of things that we go through dealing with our people in their neighborhoods. Okay? So it's a strategic move to not be directly in the hood. Because what I learned is what happens in the hood, or what doesn't happen in the hood, is the Israelite foreigners don't come down there, man. They don't come down there. Man, they're not to say that there's not Israelite foreigners in the hood, because there are, but they don't really come down there, man, because they already know. They know how our people are, and they don't even want to deal. Okay, it's harder to get a Christian to come to the hood unless they're in a hood Christian church, which we know how bad that can be. But it's hard to get people that really believe sincerely and trying to live a better life. Live at a higher standard, because we're kings and priests, thus saith the scriptures. Okay, and you go to Exodus, the 19th chapter. It tells us that we're kings and priests. So if we're supposed to be royalty of the sons of God, we can't be treating our spitting on the ground, tobacco, and there's nasty shit going on in the hood, man. Nigga walking up eating a bacon pork chop sandwich, grape soda and shit, man. You got time for that. Pull out a candy wrapper or some nasty ass candy and just drop the paper on the ground and let it just flow away in the wind. Just destroying their own inhabitants, man, their own hood. But then act like they care for the hood when somebody in a different color pull up. Man, everybody got time for all that. Matter of fact, let me play that video now. Lord willing, brother, forgive me if you didn't want me to play it, but I think it's edifying. Okay. And brothers wrote it. Maybe this is why you don't go to the hood to teach, right?
Right there, bro. See, the laws are what you're supposed to keep.
Right.
That's the thing. Yeah, you have grace to get yourself together, but the book, all it says is laws. Do these laws. Do these laws. Just imagine, like I say, if we kept the one Sabbath.
Yep.
Hey, damn, man.
Right there. Because it ain't just one direction going the other way when they shoot. It's both directions. Usually. Okay, and them one little light things, man. Just cause we know bullets don't have names on it and all of that, but ain't nobody scared of that, man. That's just not wise. Nobody's scared. Okay, Jake didn't live in some rough hoods and all of that. Jake didn't live rough lives before they came to the truth even. Okay, been in crazy situations. Why would you put yourself in that situation? Knowing what go down with our people, why would you even put yourself in a situation like that when the edification can't come out? Now, whatever they was edifying Jake that was standing up there in this video, I don't know these brothers, but when they was edifying Jake standing up there, rang out, and then what? All the edification stopped. You think he gonna remember what they was talking about right before the bullets rang out? And Jake got to get down so they don't get shot, so they can go home and continue to raise and teach their children and try to get their house hold together and so on and so forth. The wise thing is that you're a teacher. Like Paul said, it's needful that I be here. And that's when he got stoned to death. Okay, and got came back to the world, from the spirit world. Okay, so he can further the ministry. That's the key thing to this, that we further the ministry. That's the number one goal. So a comment like this is just stupid. Ain't nobody, man, just because you scared don't mean everybody else is scared. Just because somebody's out there that's scared don't mean everybody's scared. That's what I see. I look at it the other way as well. It's actually scarier going teaching among the heathen. And I don't mean among the heathen like that, but in the heathen neighborhoods. And really, when you're in the marketplace where you should be, where there's traffic, you're going to catch all types of people. But you're going to catch people in their right mind. Okay, you're going to catch less drug heads, more people that's got reasonable thinking. Okay, it's going to be a different situation. Okay, we taught on the strip out here in Vegas. Okay, and we realize on a Friday night or a Saturday night it's not wise to be out there on them nights. Why? Because the people's minds are too far gone. They're too deep into the party. Too many demons. The edification ain't coming out enough. And it was through the spirit because our schedules just lined up better on a Sunday anyway. But on a Sunday you catch people coming from church, they see you, they see the Bibles out there and they got questions. Or they may want to scoff or whatever, or debate or whatever. But then you can actually have a platform where this can happen. You can't, like some spots we was in, the music gets all loud. You can't really have the dialogue back and forth. And it messes it up, and it messes it up for the camera. Okay? So it is worked out in our favor to do it the way we do it now. And a lot of brothers have considered all of these elements why they teach where they teach. And I'm gonna bring up let me get up a couple more scriptures, but I'm gonna bring up an instance. I was out of town with the brothers in Louisiana. Lake Charles particularly, and a guy came up and we were teaching, and you know, I lived in Lake Charles, Louisiana before, so I kind of knew how the layout of the town was. And brother, like, yeah, what you think about this spot? Like, bro, this is a perfect spot. He's like, really? I was thinking in this area, and there was like, you know, so the guy came up, another guy came up, man, why y'all teaching over here? How come y'all ain't down on Broad in Highway 14? It's like, man, nah, man, nobody want to run into their auntie or their cousins or nobody. You know, run into a rival from another hood. You trying to get yourself together because you didn't got called by the word. Now the rival from another hood don't care. Just gonna run up and you know, impress or mistaken identity, anything. You know, now you got that all that pressure. People look, it's just, you can't be edified because your head on the swivel too deep. Okay? Plus, what I said to the guy, I said, most importantly, you gotta, you know, you can listen, learn, and question and all that up here. We can just dialogue. You ain't gotta worry about a lot of contention, too much traffic, you know, loud music banging up and down the block all day because nobody got, you know, people ain't got nothing better to do. Weed smoke everywhere, which, you know, it's everywhere now. But I said, but most importantly, being out of the way forces the people that find you, because the heavy lifting is done by the internet. I'm gonna get all that, Lord willing. But it forces them to put forth effort to come out and find you, to come out and you know, and come out of their element, okay, out of their comfort zone. Because Jacob come up playing. Okay, you be right there in the hood. Jacob be bored. They zoom wham whams and whatnot else. They get they fix. You know, I got about 15 minutes before I go over here and do this dumb shit. Before the game started, before I play Madden or whatever, I'm gonna go see what they talking about. And they only going over there for entertainment and then cause some bullshit. Okay, but if you make them go out of their element, a lot of times they won't waste their time going out of the element. But if you sincere, you have no problem venturing 2 cities over to get to it. If you really sincere about what the word is about, which is salvation, which is the main thing, is about salvation. We prophesy to warn the people with fear. I get these scriptures to warn the people with fear, okay, that they be convinced, all because of the opportunity for salvation. Because if we wasn't preaching salvation, if there's a salvation to be had for the elect, hey, what's the point? It wouldn't be a point. All right, let me grab a few more precepts. Because like I said, man, ain't nobody scared, man. Matter of fact, before I go to that, which we're here in 2 Timothy chapter 1. Yeah, I'll start up at verse 5. It says, when I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, okay, and that's why this word hits you, and it calls you to your unfeigned faith. Okay, let me see another translation so you can get that word. This is in the NLT. It says, I remember your genuine faith. Okay, genuine. Okay, for you share the faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I know the same faith continues strong in you. This is written to somebody particularly, right? But you can apply it generally onto the people. Who this is written to had unfeigned faith. Even the unfeigned faith ran through that family line. Anyway, it says, this is why I remind you to fan the flames, the spiritual, fan into flames the spiritual gift the Most High gave you when I laid my hands on you. Okay? For the Most High hath not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Okay? So you have to be disciplined to be to camp on time every week and have studied and have done the other things that it takes, and to be out there and to endure all the elements, to make your body a living sacrifice, which is our reasonable service. Okay? Feet hurting, legs hurting, back shot, you know, but you still crying aloud, spare not, reading forth these precepts. Okay, then you look around and you know, you see other men doing the same thing, and you want to be strong for them. Okay? And be strong as an example unto them as well, and vice versa, all the way around, pushing the word of the Lord. And as you get into the spirit, all them physical things don't bother you as much. Okay? Not to say it's not there, but it don't bother you as much. Okay? It says, so never be ashamed to tell others about the Lord. We ain't scared. We're not ashamed to tell nobody. But we ain't about to go. I'm not about to go into a pack of wild dogs looking for the one nice dog in it. No, I'm gonna make the dogs come. You make the dogs come to you. You know, sometimes you get a wild dog here and there. Sometimes you get good dogs. The dogs that want to be there will show up. Okay, and in Lake Charles, that was just a perfect spot. Because here's another thing, and I'm gonna get to it. Let me finish this, and I'll get to it. Let me finish it first. So never be ashamed to tell others about our Lord, and don't be ashamed of me either, even though I'm in prison for Him. With the strength the Most High gives you, be ready to suffer with me for the sake of the good news. Okay, because you gotta suffer, man. Be a partaker of the afflictions. Okay, that's part of what this ministry is about. Okay, I don't have to. And see, Jake got a bad mentality over there in the hood, man. They be like, oh, if you ain't tough, I ain't gonna listen to you. Hey, whatever, man. Not realizing how tough it is to be out there every week, to sacrifice your weekends with studying and going out and teaching and so on and so forth. But you really giving up your life and the entertainment and fun and joy or whatever else you could be having now to do something righteous for life to come. Okay? To Lord willing earn salvation. All right? All right, this is the book of James, chapter 1. It says, James, a servant of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, of the Most Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting. So we go to these areas because our people are scattered amongst the heathen and may even look like the heathen. Okay? So this is part of what goes on. Okay? Make Jake come out the hood, out of their comfort zone, out of where all they're clothed with all this bravado and all this extra shit that they got to put on to live in them neighborhoods. Okay? A lot of us go to these other calmer neighborhoods and to calmer marketplaces. We don't go to the corner gas station and liquor store as much, you know. We don't go there to try to edify our people. We go where, you know, a little out of the way to where we can have a dialogue, to where you can actually learn. But we also know that the internet does the heavy lifting, which I'll get to that. Okay? But our people are scattered. All right? So we got to teach not only amongst the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, but we got to teach amongst the heathen as well, to warn to prophesy to the heathen that they're going down. Okay? And to call the spirit out of the ones like the Israelite foreigners. Okay? Amos chapter 9 verse 9, which says, for lo, I will command and will sift the house of Israel among all nations. Matter of fact, let me start up at 8. Yep. So behold, the eyes of the Lord power Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and the real sinful kingdom are you Israelites, man. You Negro, Latino, Native American, Israelite foreigners, man. You guys are the real sinful kingdom out there. Okay? We got to go to you to tell you what's going on. Okay? That's who we're talking to. And hey, like I said, we're not going to get the whole Israelite foreigner part going into the hood, because a lot of them ain't going to the hood. And a lot of them don't know that they're Israelites until they hear this word and they're woken up out of it. They may feel connected to being a Hispanic, Negro, or whatever else, or Native, or whatever else. They may feel connected to it. But the way that we sift that out is with the word. by washing you off with the word. And when you come out clean and you feel like, oh, this is me, I'm connected to this, hey, that's how you know. And we don't care what you look like. Now, there's Israelite groups out there, that think black only or look at the carnal things. That ain't here at Great Millstone. We're looking at the spiritual things of man. Okay, the inner person. All right? It says, and will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh. For lo, right? So we have to tell our people, y'all gonna get destroyed, man. If y'all don't repent, right? Isaiah 58:1 says, anyway, it says, this is back in Amos 9:8. I'll get Isaiah real quick. Why not? Forgive me, I'm all over the place, but this was just something I saw in the chat. It was like, I've had this question come up a few times, and it's been a long time since I did a video on it, and so I want to make sure that I did put this out there, especially for you other groups or brothers that may wake up that don't come to Great Millstone but still look, that follow the same doctrine, that may not come, particularly to our camp or Great Millstone camp, but are looking, might be one of the affiliate camps or something. And trying to consider where you should, when you wake up, where should I go teach at? Well, it can be edifying. Brothers have edified on this. Okay? Shoot, I remember back when Dallas went to the hood and they got shot at when they were just opening up in 07. I believe that was. Anyway, Isaiah 58, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sin. So this is what we're there to teach. This is what we're there to show, and how to change that, how to repent. Okay, what the Heavenly Father is accepting. Okay, these works are through faith, not to be saved by the letter of the law. Okay, but by the show of your faith and your sincerity. Okay, but you have to be elected regardless, though. All right, and you're gonna find out that there's some men and women that may look like heathen that really make these changes. That spirit go right back to our people that really want this thing. Okay? And you can look all across Great Millstone and find not your obvious Negro, Latino, and Native American looking Jake within the camps and around the camps. Okay? But when we show them this and they make the changes, hey, it's what it is. It's what it's supposed to be. I got another one before I go right back. Okay, Romans 2. We'll get to the point. I'll wait on that part. Okay, because I've been meaning to get into this. A couple brothers that spoke about the respective persons thing. And I never got back to that video. So Lord, when I'm able to get back to that, hit me in the comments if it's been a while and I ain't got to it. But I'm gonna try to get back to it. There's a lot of prophecy popping off of World War III, so forgive me, but I use this more of a warm-up video to get into those. But at the same time, this is edifying because some of you are gonna see the prophecies coming to pass and want to wake up and start seeing it. And gonna need to figure out how to do these things. So knowing how to make a garment, which almost seems obvious, but no, border of blue in the fringe. Okay, you're gonna make the camp sign, the stick with all 12 tribes on it. Okay, the respective correlations. All right, and then picking a spot. Okay, picking a place to go camp, which isn't as obvious. Okay, while I'm doing this video, it's not as obvious that you shouldn't, you got to choose according to your city so you know where it's convenient to go, but you also know where it's going to be edifying. And some of it's trial and error. Sometimes you go to a spot and nobody ever, a spot dies out and it may not be somewhere. You still want foot traffic, okay, and that's the key. You still want foot traffic, okay, you still want to be in a chief place of concourse. When where there's people around, they can walk by, see the signs, and talk. Even though the internet is the chief place of concourse now, okay. Once they find the videos, but hey, but you want them to go and ask, hey, so y'all online? So okay, we streaming live online, or we upload the videos online. Okay, so where do I go? Then that's when they really go in there, listen, and learn. Okay, but for the most part, You got to be visible and let them know that hey, we're over here to answer these questions, man. You know, and we do issue challenges out to now we don't, well, we used to, I should say. You know, we want to debate pastors about the Christians and all that, but now it's, man, we're so far beyond, you know, debating you other doctrines out there, Christianity, black consciousness, and whoever else, man. We're so tired of that shit. That's so old. That's so 2012, 2010. You know, I'm saying it in a jokingly manner, but if it come up and the dialogue goes and this is what happens, that's cool. But at the end of the day, we're not here to debate. You trying to debunk what we believe or try to sow a seed in it? Nah, man. We're here prophesying unto you the things that are coming to pass. We're past all that. We're past all that. Well, his name is Jesus, man. We're past all that. His name ain't Jesus. It was no letter J. We're past all that. It's edifying for those that may not know, but we're past all of that. He was a dark-skinned man. We're past all of that. Going back and forth, slobbering back and forth with Christians over the name and the image of what he looks like. But we're done with all that. World War III is popping off, man. America just got into World War III. It's way more bigger fish to fry. Okay? The prophecy is what tells you that the Heavenly Father is dealing with us. All right? Anyway, it says, this Romans 2, I digress. Romans 2 and 11, for there is no respect of persons with the Most High. For as many as have sinned without the law, meaning they grew up in a situation, you know, in a world or in a culture that didn't have the law as the forefront of what they believed, thinking that they were a heathen, following the customs of the heathen, okay? And they were sinning because they didn't know they wasn't supposed to, right? And as Paul also wrote, for we were Gentiles back in the day, given unto dumb idols, which was sinning, right? Also, it says, shall also perish without the law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. So you're subject to it either way. And we fall short either way. That's why it's about faith and not the law. Deeper in Romans, Paul wrote more about it, right? It says, for not the hearers of the law are before the Most High, but the doers of the law shall be justified, rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of your ability, right? For when the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves, showing the work of the law written in their hearts, that they have a conscience to want to do the right thing. Okay? Those people need to be prophesied unto as well. Those people need to be edified as well. And those people are out there, man. Those people are out there. They'll be in those chief places of concord. They ain't always going to come down to the hood. You can get Jake to come out the hood and go to those chief places of concord, but it's hard to get an Israelite foreigner to come out of their secure locations into confusion. Okay? And if the elect is there, they'll never know about the Hebrew Israelites if it was only in the hood. There's a whole sect of people that vow. That's why the sides of town are divided, man. And trust me, if you Jakes don't know where that dividing line is, if it's not a railroad track or a freeway overpass or just a certain street that you know that the cops patrol heavier on this side or versus that side, and if you black on that side, they're going to pull you over and see what you up to, and so on and so forth. If you don't know where that line is in your town, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Which I'm pretty sure you know where them lines get crossed at. You know, if you out of line. You know, if you out of line. So we teach over here, take care of your responsibilities while you're here on earth. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. You know, have your license in good standing. You know, or get it in good standing ASAP. Registration, insurance, have all that together, man. Okay? Take care of all those things. All right? What else you spending your money on? If not that, if you We understand if you ain't got that situation yet, but hey, when you get those situations, we know the convenience and the helpful use of cars and the need of cars in this society, and to have that secure where you don't have to worry about those issues. Okay? So you can go to that other side of town and then edify for the church of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right? To finish it off, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. Okay? And we got to cross them people off the list. Either way, that they've been prophesied unto. Whether of the destruction to come, whether they jakes or not. Okay? Or to wake them up, to educate them. All right? Okay? I'm in Psalm 19. I'm getting to the internet here. I'm break it down for you. But hey, this is all. And there's videos on all these things all over brothers' pages, man. All over Great Millstone, and all over the internet. That you can look up these particular things I'm kind of breezing through. Okay, but the point being, whether it be the Israelite foreigner thing, breakdown of the internet, but I'm going to hit a few precepts out of here, a few lines out of here, just so you can see that this was set up for this. Okay, because it's going to be more difficult in these letters, because in the ancient world, you go down on a certain spot, you go before the church or whatever, before the temple. Okay, you go down to the chief place of concord, to the agora, depending on where you live at, okay, and you teach where most of the people are and tell them what's going on, prophesy unto them, okay, but now that situation's a lot different. It's harder to get around, time consuming. Jake gotta go to work, Jake gotta do all these other things, so the internet does the heavy lifting. We don't have to be daily in the temple, though we get on the internet and teach, okay, daily, or study or whatever daily. But hey, at the same time, we can't walk down to the chief place of I can't go down to downtown Vegas every day and do that and still be at work and still edify and still have energy and all of these other things, man. So the Heavenly Father understood this and has the internet set up right here. Okay, Psalm 19:1. I'll read a few verses down, not all the way, but it says, I think I'll go all the way down to, it's good though, down to 7. It says, to the chief musician, the Psalm of David, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament show his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. Because you can go on the internet and click on it any time of day or night. Okay? And get this word and get edified anytime, day or night on the internet. Right? There's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. And you can go to Google Translate or find a brother in another location teaching in that language. Okay? Their line is gone out throughout all the earth. What is that talking about? The World Wide Web online. Or the World Wide Web. Okay? And their words to the end of the world. Okay? Because the apostles taught in New York. But there's brothers all over the world that have been edified through what the apostles did. They didn't have to go to Africa or to Asia or wherever else to push this word out. They have to go there for 4 years and teach, and then the church was built up. They didn't have to do all of that. They just taught from New York, and then boom, generally, you brothers know, but the point is they didn't jet set all over the world trying to edify. They just edified online, and when it went online, boom, the ministry blew up. Okay? So that's why we say the internet had done the heavy lifting. It said their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them have he set a tabernacle for the sun, all the way in those heavens where the satellites sit that push this word over the internet back and forth across the world, right? It says, which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoice as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Right? And like I said, you can go get the full breakdown in the different videos, but this is still breaking down the internet and how it works, because You know, you can click and it's fast. You don't have to go study books like the apostles did in the 80s and 90s. Okay, and their teachers even. Okay, before them, and way back then, and go to the library, find a library that has the book. Go up there, catch the bus, drive the car, or whatever. Go up there, get it, take it back, read it, study it, photocopy it, so on and so forth, and then go back and turn it in before it was late, or before it's due. You can just go right on the internet and click. And even the internet, since I've been in the truth, has gotten easier. AI is just, and ChatGPT and all that is just Grok, all of man, they're just making it so much easier now. Where they'll compile all the information on the internet and give you and put it in order so you can understand it and make it so much easier and summarized. Okay? Like I like to say also, it's all about how you ask the question and to provoke the type of answers you want. Anyway, it says, so you got to know a little something to get it to say what you need it to say, because it's just going to throw out some Edomite thinking, regular world things if you don't have a deeper way to ask the question. But that's life itself. Anyway, verse 7, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. Okay? And that's what this does, man. And it's doing it over the internet, making wise the simple. Okay? Edifying our people, building our people up, showing them their transgressions and so on and so forth. So to say, oh, y'all scared, man, nobody's scared, man. Nobody's scared to go over there, man. We don't have a spirit of fear. The Heavenly Father didn't give us that. He told us that people are gonna come up and be hard and try us and all that. We've been through that. And if you haven't been through that, hey, it'll come back around. You'll get your chance to exercise, but do you believe? Because a lot of times there's a more diplomatic way to handle things. Some of it turn to fisticuffs. Okay, sometimes it may. Okay? But you gotta learn that there's probably a better way to have done things, and sometimes you can't avoid certain situations. Sometimes you pray and you curse them, or whatever else the case may be. But all to the edifying of you and those listening is what the purpose of this is for. Okay, all the way unto salvation. If you're going to the hood dealing with drug dealers, nigga, pick your parents up, and nigga get mad at you. Hey, you get tired of Jake walking around looking at their drawers. You get tired of seeing, women walking around, half naked. You get tired of that. You take care of your kids, and you get all this, and people get upset, man. Constantly being called out. Jake don't like that shit. Okay, Jake is hard-hearted and stiff-necked, as it says in Ezekiel the 2nd chapter. They ain't trying to hear that they way ain't the right way. So this is set up for people that want to hear this. Now, the other people will hear it, but this is set up for people that want it, and the edification comes. Okay? That's what this is set up for, man. So, let me go back to the message again, make sure I hit everything I was thinking. But yeah, this is, like I said, the comments on the Tampa Brothers page, right? It says, brothers teaching to the camera. And it said we were prophesying to the wind in Ezekiel the 37. That's where I want to go. Okay, I want to go to Ezekiel the 37th chapter where it's going to tell you, prophesying to the wind. The whole chapter is good, though. Let me see. Bear with me 1 second. Right here, yeah, that's verse 9. So I'll read down. I'm gonna just read through it. Like I said, there's breakdowns, even on my page with the things that we've been talking about, that I've been talking about in this video. But just to briefly read through it, okay. Ezekiel 34:7. I hit a couple verses of key points. So the hand of the Lord was upon me. He carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And this is what you see when you go to the hood. But you don't have to go to the hood to see this. You can see it in any chief place. Whenever you see our people, you can see that they're very dry. Okay? You're looking at the heathen, they're expected to be dry because they ain't in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? So they don't have that fullness of life. But then there's certain people that you can see that they just, that they're just extra dry, man. I don't know what else to call them. That they just don't have the spirit. They don't have that fullness and happiness of life. And as the money is inflating and prices going up and gas costs and instability in the countries and in the nation and in the world with world war and all these things that's happening in ICE raids, and you start looking around, man, ain't nobody really smiling like that. Everybody's caught in their phone looking for small moments of joy minute by minute. Okay? Looking to have their drugs and their drinks and whatever else they need, Jordans or whatever else they need to feel better and feel good about themselves. Okay, looking for artificial things. Okay, to try to make that happen. This is what you see. Showing that our people are dry. It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, Yahweh, thou knowest. Again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. And just to break it down, if you don't know, just briefly, the dry bones are living people. When I say about living people, these people are physically alive, but they're spiritually dead and dry. Okay? So take that into context, and you can probably, that's something that would be good to put in the chat GPT to break this down with that as the sentiment. Okay? But anyway, it says, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. But they need that breath of life. Okay, that wisdom. Okay, and how do you know that? You go to Genesis, the 2nd chapter, when the breath of life was given unto Adam. Okay, and then you also go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, later down in the verses where it's talking about wisdom is the breath of, the breath, wisdom is a breath, basically. And it says more than that, but yeah. It says, and ye shall live and know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Excuse me, I'll jump top of verse 6. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live. Ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them. And this is our people waking up. Okay? And because our people are going to wake up in mass number. Right? And the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. But they're going to know they're Judah. They're going to know not to eat pork, but they're not going to follow through on the true wisdom expressed in their faith, in their conduct of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua that's acceptable unto salvation, because they wasn't chosen to be of the elect. A lot of people that are gonna know they're Israelites, okay, but aren't gonna make it. All right, someone will know, and then they'll go right back to the world and not make it. All right, they'll be there and they'll be told and they'll hear it and they'll believe it, and they're not gonna make it. Okay, and look. You tell somebody that came out of the hood, I mean, like they left the hood to go down, downtown, I forgot the name of those streets over there, but you go downtown and you're edifying over there, good dialogue back and forth. Jake is getting it. He take what he just learned from you down back to the hood, to his family, to his homeboys in the hood and all that, and they scoff and they forget, and so they heard about it. Now, whether that guy comes back or not is what's important. Because if he comes back and he fulfills what he's supposed to, he may be of the elect. And Lord willing, he will be of the elect, and it all happens. But if not, hey, you did your job. The job got done. Okay? It says, no breath in him. Yep. Verse 9, then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind. So prophesying to the camera when the internet is what does the heavy lifting. We prophesied, man, telling the camera go out, and we still be out there. And there'd be nobody around for hours. Exercising ourselves, putting these precepts together, getting our wind and our breath together, getting the depth of how loud we speak together. Really working on it. And then you might have one person show up, 25 minutes in, if no camera, no nothing, show up, and then the dialogue happen and somebody get edified, man. Okay? We've been out there, but when the swap meet is finally, eventually closed, we still out there, and then people walk up. And it was actually, I remember this when we was at the swap meet here in Vegas off Rancho for a while. There was a church all the way down, a Hispanic church all the way down. And a couple people would come down and talk a little bit, have a little dialogue back and forth. While they waiting on church to set up. To get started. So you don't know, man. You don't know. You just got to go out and do the job. All right? Talking about prophesying to nobody or the camera. Hey, man, a lot of people can go see this. A lot of you people that are against the camera, that are against going out and teaching, a lot of you are scared, man. A lot of you are scared to get out there in the elements and deal with the people, deal with the heat or the cold. Okay, you're scared that your family or a boss or somebody might see you on the internet. Okay? And some of you are just wild and get all over these things and don't have no context of what you're really trying to do, because the overall goal is to edify. So you just want to be seen, but there ain't no edification really coming out. Okay? So keeping the goal, the main thing, and the main thing is to be out there to prophesy, man. That the people can be edified. All right? Yeah, it will be a spectacle and all of these other things, but the main point is that the brothers are being edified. Hey, the apostles themselves, 34th and 7th, if you've ever been to New York, in Manhattan, hey, it's a popping corner. That whole area pops. Full of traffic, back and forth all the time. You don't see the apostles go there no more. You wonder why? Because they're going places where it's more edifying. Where they have a different background now. They've done that part. You're going to catch them off the internet. Okay? You're going to connect to them through the internet, and that's where you're really going to be edified at. But they're still in places where you can still walk past them, drive up on them, and ask questions the same. All right? Verse 9, then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came in unto them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. And people are going to wake up from doing it this way because they're able to be edified. But if there's just all a bunch of contention and just heavy engines and bass booming down, and I like bass and all of that, and nice cars with big engines and fast and all that's nice. Candy paint, all that's dope. Okay? But there's a context that's more important that this word come out. And if Jake ain't ready to mature past that, hey man, don't sweat them. When the time is right, they'll do it, and they'll make the trek to wherever they got to get this word, if it's serious enough for them, if the Spirit is really on them like that. Okay? I heard such and such was down by the lake, down over by downtown, around the corner from by Container Park over here off of this street, off of that or whatever, teaching. Okay? Well, I got to get down there. Well, quit pussyfooting, man. Because if you come down there and it's around the corner, you walk around there, that don't mean you about to wake up today, that you about to just go headlong devoted into it, just because you walked around the corner on your way to the liquor store, to the gas station to pick up some blunt wraps. That don't mean today's the day you wake up. Nah, but if you made that trek across town, caught 3 buses or whatever, got a ride from your auntie or whoever else to, and then you had to walk back or whatever else because you missed the last bus to be edified and it was worth it to you. Hey, that's different. Okay, that hit different on the inside, right? I'm gonna stop it there. So anyway, Lord willing, this was edifying. I think that was pretty much everything. Let me go back to the comment. It says, brothers teaching to the camera amongst the heathen instead of going to the hood where our people dwell. Man, you go do hood duty, bro. You go do hood duty and see how long and how much fruit you get there. You know, best of luck to you, honestly. Okay? So I know y'all really scared of Jake. And IUIC tried to tell us that, like, man, we done did that already. We done went down over here in Vegas to the west side and been all up in there, all between up all them churches. We know people that live over there. We done been all through up in there, man. We don't want to hear that. We done been there. We see what we done been on MLK. You know, MLK on any street got Jake there. We done been over there. We done seen Jake over there on MLK in front of Mario's. We done seen it. We see what happens. We know what happens. Okay? And if it worked for you, great. Well, this is good for us, man. We happy with the fruit that we get. All right? So anyway, Lord willing, is edifying, giving all praise and glory to the Yahweh Bashim Shabbat Shemel Chakbadash, that belongs to our apostles, the bishop, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love to you, hopeful elect. And to the next one. Shalom.